Here we are once again, ladies and gentlemen. Florida State can't come away with a win against Pittsburgh. Favored going into this game, 10 points, and the Seminoles can't pull it off. They cannot. And Florida State, their third straight loss of the season, and have not won an ACC game, VZ. An ACC game. This is their conference that they're in. They have not won one of those in 385 days. Florida State's 3-3. After an impressive start to the season, you beat Alabama. You take care of your two lesser opponents, and then you go on the road to Virginia. You lose in overtime there. You get dominated by Miami at home, and this game, once again, was an ugly one, and Florida State's defense allows for a freshman quarterback to have a day. I understand he had a few interceptions, but still, nonetheless, though, he ate you up. He ate up your defense, and that should not be the case whatsoever, and Florida State hurt themselves a few times, too, offensively, and the Seminoles lose 34-31 at home. VZ, instant reaction to this.
I don't even know where to start. I'm gonna be honest. Like the defense was bad. The offense let off the gas in the second half for the most part. I get they were missing their top three wide receivers because Deuce Robinson left in the first half after a wide receiver screen, which I already hate enough. I don't know where to start on that performance. Honestly, it was abysmal. I mean, you forced two turnovers, should have gotten a third there on that last Pitt drive, and you still can't win the football game. You won the turnover battle and still can't win. Mm-hmm. That's insane. To me, that's insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Your freshman quarterback for Pittsburgh, 21-29, 321 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions there. But like you said there, you still win the turnover battle, but you still give up so many yards. I mean, total yards, 476. Tony White, 476 yards, 321 on air, and 155 on the ground. Florida State also, too, did not have a pretty game whatsoever in the penalty department. 8 penalties for 72 yards.
I mean, one of them was that horrible Deuce Robinson personal foul. That was ridiculous. Getting choked for 5 seconds, and he gets it for personal foul for lightly tapping him on the head. But yes, otherwise, yes, the penalties were egregious.
We'll give the ACC some crud on that one a little bit. They also missed a Shamar Arnu one that should have been a flag, but luckily, FSU got away with that one there. But still, ugly game. I mean, it ended there ugly. Daryl Jackson. I mean, you're hoping for a miracle. You would have to look to the stars to align for Florida State to come away and maybe have a chance here. But Daryl Jackson, offsides, that goes ahead and ends all your dreams that you had there, BZ. Ugly. I mean, ugly all across the board.
Yeah, it was disheartening, especially because you think Florida State closed the first half really well, forced that turnover in the red zone, get that, we'll call it lucky touchdown from Castellanos to Landon Thomas. You're thinking, hey, Florida State gets the ball coming out of the half. If you get points here, who knows what can happen? And then they just score 3 points the rest of the game, period. Not just out of that drive. They didn't even get points on that first drive out of half. Plus that fumble there at the end where Earl Little makes a great play on the quarterback to strip the ball loose. Can't recover it. You also have Keziah Holmes fumble, which it looks like he got back on top of and then somehow coughed it back up again. Just a microcosm of a lot of things that has gone well and gone wrong with this era that we're now 5.5 years into.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this era sucks. Outside of that run that you had in 2023, it's not been the most fun of a ride, VZ, if I must say so myself. But yeah, I mean, Florida State over here, I'm looking at that first drive from Pittsburgh, just going down a long, very long drive there. 15 plays, close to 7 minutes. I mean, it was extremely long.
8 minutes, 5 seconds, 3 fourth down conversions. Like
three for three.
Unreal.
Yeah, 3 for 3 on the day there for Pittsburgh. Florida State just could not get off the field once again. Missed tackles. Pressure wasn't there for the most part outside of your young guys on the outside. I think James Williams started this game once again for FSU, but I just don't think they have no answer behind James Williams. I don't think they just feel confident in anybody behind him, and that
He actually
kind of
did get
says a
some
lot.
quick pressures a couple of times. But really the only times they got pressure overall and actually got to the quarterback is when they brought pressure. With those linebacker stunts and loops, that's really the only time they got pressure. And it's just when you're trying to rush for and you can never get pressure, that's an issue because the secondary is not amazing.
No. Their quarter, I mean, they would just pull up. He would just pull up in the pocket, which is great from him. He also was able to read his blind side very well. I mean, you don't usually see that from a quarterback on his first road game like this, but that didn't really bother him much. And he read things very well. He'd pull up or he'd start rolling out, something that, Tommy has now continued to struggle in a very, very large way. I mean, to me, he's thinking things. He's thinking way too long. There's a third. Well, I have it down in my notes here, but it was there in the fourth quarter where, you want to convert and get to the first down. He could have easily used his legs, but he's still waiting for his wide receiver maybe to come back and come to the ball, but you're just waiting too long. Use those legs, man, and go grab the first down. And then there's another one too where, you could convert on, 3rd and 6. You've got Marquise and Douglas there. Drop it off, man. Make things easy for you. And that's something that he did not want to do at all against Miami. And once again, it continues. I know he apologized and all that jazz in the post-game presser last week, and I've got to do better and improve. And not that the game was on him today, but there's just some things here that if Tommy does not correct things, this offense will not move. Certainly, too, when you lose your 3 starting wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really put today on Tommy as much as I do the defense and Holmes for that fumble, because he almost fumbled one 5 plays before that where he very, very nearly should have fumbled. I don't know why someone upstairs said, hey, Holmes almost fumbled that. We need to get him out of the game. I still don't know why they're not relying on Sawchuk and Chroma more, because those are clearly your 2 top running backs. Let them get the bulk of the carries and let the rest of the offense do whatever it does. But it's tough to do that when Florida State's top wide receivers are all out of the game, and it already wasn't a good room anyways. Like, you were strictly relying on Deuce anyways in that room. Now you lose him. Now you lose Squirrel. Now you lose Boggs, and you're relying on Mekhi Danzey, who, credit to him, had some great plays in this game. Also had a few plays you're like, man, you got to make that play if you're going to be a Division I wide receiver. We didn't see McCoy make a catch there until the very end, if I'm not mistaken. We actually saw Elijah Moore in there once make a catch, but also miscommunication on a route a few plays after that. It's a bad room. And then you lose your best receiver on a play that you shouldn't be running to him anyways on. It just makes it even more frustrating.
Yeah, he did take that shot there too. I believe it was his left or something to his leg there. It seemed like maybe like a hyperextension. It didn't seem like he was turning his knee any. So you got to hope maybe it's just a minor hyperextension there for him, because we did not see him back out there on the sidelines in the second half, which is obviously not great news. We saw him get up, saw him walk off the field and such, but Dustin and our guys up there just did not see him for the remainder of the half. We also didn't see Randy Pittman play in this game as well. For offense, Micah Pettis was out. Jacob Rizzi stepped in there at right tackle and kept Medley there at guard. So a lot of moving pieces across the board offensively for Florida State in this one. But, you just kind of saw flashbacks of what we saw last week and Virginia trying to do a whole lot of things, trying to take those shots, commit to the ground game, man, because it was working with Sawchuk, Usman Kroma as well being in the game. Just commit to that, commit to the on the ground, and we saw success with Florida State doing that, driving that in the third quarter. But things just continue to fall apart for them offensively, and when that wide receiver room went away for Tommy Castellanos, I thought Gus and Tommy, they'd try to run with him quite a bit more and use him in the ground game. But once again, kind of just trying to take those shots. I mean, the one that he took with to Landon Thomas, that was just, let's just throw it up and see what happens.
Yeah, I can't believe that was completed.
You're very, 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 very lucky that came away with a catch, not alone, just also too being a touchdown.
Yeah.
Because you're once again like, Tommy, no, don't do that. Don't do that. And got lucky there, I would say.
Yeah, very lucky. 9 times out of 10, that's at least an incompletion, if not an interception. And Pitt's corner just kind of got lost in no man's land. I don't know exactly what he was doing. It was a lucky play. It really was. and you guys talked about it on Monday, and then we talked about it again on Wednesday. Roll Tommy out of the pocket, get some of these pockets on the move for him, because he clearly doesn't want to be in the pocket anyways. And they did it once in this game, maybe twice. We never really saw it, especially not utilized correctly. I don't know why they think they can make him into a drop back passer when they need him to pass, because it clearly doesn't work. And then when they get in that 3rd and 4th to 6th range, Gus is so hyper fixated on running an inside handoff. Like, yeah, sometimes it works, but when it doesn't work, it's not worth it, because you have to at least be ready to go for it on 4th, and they just were never ready to go for it on 4th. And speaking of going for it on 4th, I've never been happier to get a delay of game call than when they're about to run that fake punt, because that was never going to work.
Oh yeah, no, I was gonna. Yeah, Gav saw check that defender was reading that perfectly.
Yeah, they were ready for that. That was never going to work. It was a weird effort on both sides of the ball, really all 3 sides of the ball, because we haven't even talked about the block punt in the first half, which granted Pitt threw an interception from that field position, but still that there's mistakes on in every aspect of the team right now, and you just can't have that at this stage.
Now, looking over on the defensive side, and we are going to get a conversation going about Mike Norvell here in a minute, but just want to go on both sides of the ball. Defensive-wise, here's a fun stat for you, VZ. Here's a great one. Pittsburgh accumulated 476 yards of total offense with a true freshman quarterback. Alabama put up 341. Virginia put 440 on you. And Miami totaled 338 yards against Tony White's defense. What in the world is going on defensively for Florida State? I think we have talked about it a lot we talked about it a ton this offseason, VZ. The concern of what you're going to have at the defensive line. You did a lot of work in the transfer portal, but some of those guys, just didn't have a whole ton of like, woo, okay, that's not a Jermaine Johnson, not getting a Jared Verse in there, not getting a Fabian Lovett. Not going to be one of those big-time factors for you. And sure enough, that seems to be the case for the Seminoles. You can't get a pass rush. You can't do much outside of Darrell Jackson taking on 2 to 3 guys, and no one else next to him wants to take advantage of that opportunity. And Florida State's linebacker room doesn't know how to spy a quarterback. And once again, you see number 20 flying off. I don't know where. I actually don't know where Blake Nicholson was running off to. But allowing for Heinschel to go run for multiple conversions for first downs. And the secondary had its issues as well. I know Earl Little and Edwin Joseph recorded interceptions too, but Jerry Wilson can't tackle still.
Yeah, and Earl Little's interception was basically a punt. I don't even really count that as an interception. That was, the quarterback threw 50 yards in the air. It's basically a punt at that point. But it's looked like a team that I thought would go 5-7 in the preseason. There's just not a lot of talent on this team. There's not much high-end talent that you can rely on game in and game out. Yes, Djax is great at eating up blocks, but when no one else can make a play, like McCray was wide open to the passer, and he allows him to escape out, still get out of the contain, and throw up a prayer across his body that was still a touchdown. Like, you have to make those plays at that stage of the football game. There's no talent on this team, which is what I was concerned about coming into the season. And the Alabama win is looking flukier and flukier every week we go by, because the linebacker room gets worse and worse. The defensive line gets worse and worse. I don't think the secondary was that bad in this game. You can only ask them to cover for so long. So it is what it is, I guess.
It's like what I said to both you and D'Lo. When you don't have a pass rush and your secondary hasn't played its best as well, it creates a shit smoothie. And man, that freshman QB delivered you a nice tropical smoothie. It was not tasty whatsoever. And once again, we're looking at the numbers here on the defensive side of the ball. Jabril Rawls leading you. A cornerback leading you with tackles of 10 tackles, and then you've got Ashton Barker with 5, another defensive back. And then, hey, you've got another defensive back with 5 tackles. Consecutive weeks here for Florida State and Tony White's defense. Just not pretty whatsoever, and getting picked apart because you don't have any kind of pass rush coming off to the side. But then again, your linebacker room, I don't think it was their worst game of the season, but whenever you look at the total yards and the way that a true freshman did things to you, it is probably one of the worst. You're facing a freshman quarterback who was on the road for the first time in his career.
It's ridiculous. Like, it was maddening. It really was. There's no other way to put it. There's really just no other way to put it. And part of the reason for this defense was it's supposed to stop the run, and it's just not stopping the run right now. I get most of that's because of the talent, but they gotta do better at some point.
Yeah, no, they do. It's not pretty. This defense is struggling week after week after week, and it's very, very devastating to watch. I don't know like any other words like from last year. We tried to use I ran out of my vocabulary last year. And I'm getting the same exact vibes as last year. It's cool, you got it. You won against Alabama. Cool stuff there, but that doesn't matter anymore. That's long gone. I don't think this FSU fan base gives a damn anymore about that whatsoever. You can't even win in the ACC, VZ. You can't win in the ACC.
Should just move to the SEC. We apparently win SEC games, but you can't win in the ACC. It's weird.
Nope. As long as you can get them in the week one, though, Florida State knows how to take care of business against SEC teams in week one when they need to be. But yeah, we're what is that now? 8 straight ACC losses?
Something like that.
7, 8. I believe we're at 8 now. Chat will be able to confirm that. I believe it's 8.
I think so too. 8 or 9.
What does the future lie here for Mike Norvell?
I mean, it's a $60 million buyout, like, or 58.7 if we're being specific. That's a lot of money.
It's a lot.
Like a lot of money.
Cash.
Florida State literally just got done paying the Taggart buyout. All this money into the Doak Campbell Stadium renovations, the new football-only facility, plus buying out the staff, which is going to be another few million, plus whatever you're trying to pay the next coach to try and leave that school. I don't know. They're at a cross. Hopefully Florida State just wins out like they did in 2022, but let's just be realistic. Probably not going to happen, and they're going to have some decisions to make. They really are.
I don't think that's happening, BZ. I do not think that's happening. I do not. Let's look at this schedule real quick. And I know we like to make fun and laugh at Stanford, and for sure we can do that, but can't laugh no more. No more laughing for any FSU fans, because every game moving forward is going to be a big one for the Seminoles. So Florida State's going to go unranked moving forward, but then next week they were on the road at 10:30 all the way against Stanford on the West Coast. And
can't believe we're going to stay up to that.
Yep, that's going to be a fun one for all of us to stay up for. I doubt a lot of people will stay up if that defense plays the way it is. I don't think you'll see much people watching going into halftime. But they go and face off against Wake Forest, who comes to town, and then on the road in Death Valley to the Clemson Tigers on November 8th. You got Virginia Tech at home. Then you go on the road on a Friday night. Once again, another Friday night road game for the Seminoles. Yeehaw, giddy up against NC State. We all know the history there of that. And then at Florida, which the Gators can show that they do have a defense. And right now the Seminoles are very limited. I know that's all the way at the end of the season. But
the crazy thing is there's still so many winnable games because the ACC is so bad, but Florida State can't stop shooting themselves in the foot. Like, there's a lot of frustrating parts.
That's why we're here. That's why we do this podcast, is get out those frustrating parts that you have in your brain. I think there's so many things that you want to let out right now, but you're holding yourself back. This is a freedom of speech country, VZ.
There are.
Mike, I think that's all. I think that's all she wrote. I mean, if only he didn't go 2-10 last year. That didn't happen, did it? Oh, it did. It did happen. And now he can't win an ACC game once again.
It's the strangest fall from grace I think I've ever seen from a coach.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 13-0. I'm still not counting the Georgia game. No Florida State fan does. Everyone would have been upset if he took the Alabama job after that season. Everybody would have been upset. And then to go 2-10 the next season, and the result we're getting this year, truly the strangest fall from grace I've seen from any college coach ever. Because you saw the upward trajectory. Because if you're being realistic, the program when Mike came in was an absolute mess. Picked up from Willie's dumpster fire, and you saw the steady progress year after year after year, and then just completely fell off a cliff. And yeah, part of that's not being able to capitalize in recruiting. I'm not a huge recruiting guy. I think it's highly overrated, but I know a lot of people care about that. You haven't been able to capitalize on that, and that's absolutely an issue.
Yeah, it is. Still waiting here to hear from Mike Norvell. Not that you're going to get anything really significant, because it will be a lot of coach speak and will be a lot
I don't
of
even want to listen.
Let's respond. Thought the team responded well at the end there. They still tried. They showed effort. But just respond, and make sure you keep climbing there. The climb is falling apart. I mean, oh man, it's rough. It's rough for what you do, and you've been able to hold on to a pretty strong recruiting class, along with the one that you have right now, and the one that you have your freshman in right now. There's some young stars that you have on this team. It's just the collective part of you lack in a lot of departments of talent, and not recruiting well has hurt you there.
At some point, yes. And I think it's more not being able to develop as much as anything. Like Atkins set the line back years. Adam Fuller and his defensive staff set the whole defense back by years. That to me means as much as anything, because the 5 stars that Florida State has been able to land over the last 8 years have never developed into anything. And that goes back to the Taggart and the end of Jimbo days. That's why I think recruiting is overrated. People are probably mad in the comments. I'm not looking at those. But it's just, if you're not going to be able to develop, that means as much as anything. I think they do have some people who can develop on staff now. They're probably not going to get that time, because this freshman class is genuinely good. There has been great freshman talent in this class that we've seen so far, and I love for them to be able to build on that. They may not get that chance.
And hey, this is Mike Norvell's birthday.
Oh, that's a bad...
eighth straight ACC loss gifted to you. Enjoy that cake, Mike.
I mean, $58 million for my birthday would be fine.
That would be a great birthday present.
Great birthday present.
Take that, absolutely. No, it's been a tragic experience outside of 2023. I didn't think that the college football playoff would completely kill that staff and Mike Norvell and what he had going for him, the momentum that he had sprung from that season alone. I understand too, you lost your star quarterback and such, but them getting snubbed and such, tough, emotional, I'm sure, for the team and whatsoever, but you don't go the next season 2-10. I don't give it. That's just not. I don't. That's silliness. That's a silly excuse just because you got snubbed from a college football playoff. I about said something, but I'm gonna hold back. But it's just ridiculous. It's pathetic. Florida State has a football program that has got to do a lot of work, and now Michael Alford, and Florida State's athletic director, has to start getting a plan together for what the future looks like. Because I think the fan base is completely shot. I don't think you're going to see anybody at Wake Forest in a couple weeks. I don't think anybody's going to be in Doak Campbell Stadium for that one. And then you face Virginia Tech in middle of November. I just don't think you're going to see anybody in that stadium in these next 2 home games, your last 2 home games of the season. I just don't think you're going to have any of the fan base's support as it should be. It's the ACC, and then you had your administration, Mike, whoever else pushing to get into the SEC. You don't want that. You don't want that. You can have them in the week 1. Week 1's fine. You can play them for 1 week.
They'd be paying us more money. That's all I care about. I don't
get more.
We're losing already as it is. Why should I matter if we're getting paid more to lose? I'd rather just get paid more to lose.
Well, you got a little long ways to go before that, but you ain't about that action on the field, though. I don't care how much money you got with the coaching staff. I don't care. Not there yet. Not there yet whatsoever. And it's a bad spot to be in. If anybody's got any topics or questions, throw them in the chat. We'll bring up a few of these as we go through all of this. But yeah, like Brian said, season is over. Crazy with starting off great. Yeah, Florida State started this season off 3-0. That's
what happens when you get 5 months to prepare for a game, and you can show all the little new additions, new toys that the offense has to play with. Teams are sitting on those reverses with Danzy now. We saw that last week. They tried it again this week on a 3rd and 6, which was annoying.
Yeah, on 3rd and 6.
The team only has 6 plays. The teams are going to catch up eventually.
Well, guess we know why Holmes. Grant saying, "Guess we know why Holmes doesn't get as much carries." Yeah, probably so. He almost lost that fumble. I saw you tweet it too, but he almost lost the fumble. He almost lost the ball earlier in the game.
I mean, he had 10 attempts this game. It's way too many. Chroma had 7. There's no reason Holmes should be getting more carries than Chroma at this stage in the season.
Question here from Trent asking, any chance Mike Norvell is here after this season?
There's a chance. There is a chance.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you go 6-0, if you go 6-0, absolutely.
I would say even 5-1. 5-1 the
5-1?
rest of the way. I think 8-4 would get him another year. I do think so.
It just gets the point. So, okay. It gets the point of, all right, cool. 8-4. That's great. Still a lot has to go in that favor for you in order to do that. But let's say you do it. Do you feel confident that the next season is going to look bright for Florida State? I mean, they still got to find an answer of who their future quarterback is going to be. They don't know if, is Kevin Sperry going to be that? And it's not going to be Brock Glenn. Tommy Castellanos, I doubt, is going to come back, nor do you really want to rely on him to have to come back.
He could, technically.
And your defense is atrocious.
Defense is atrocious.
And your offensive line transfers are gone.
Yeah.
Do you just reset it all? Reset the Shockers going into 2026? I mean, you take the hit probably for on the recruiting side and such, but I just don't think either way. I think that's going to hit you no matter what, because I don't see where Florida State, you should beat Stanford, should beat Wake Forest, you should beat Virginia Tech. But right now, Clemson, NC State, Florida, I don't care how bad NC State is. It's still on the road at NC State.
That's
I don't
not
care.
It's not going to be fun.
Yeah. But right now, these could be all flop. These are all 50-50s to meet Stanford and Wake Forest. I don't care how bad those teams are. I really don't care. That's just kind of where we're at as we were last year.
It's kind of where I was with the basketball team like 4 years ago. Until you show me you can win, I'm just not going to pick them to win anymore. Like that's just we're back to that stage. That's how we were last year. We've somehow gone full circle where we were so confident after the Alabama game. Obviously, they're playing horrible teams in East Texas and Kent State, but they dominated those games the way a good team is supposed to. And now they're just like dog water. Like there's no way to sugarcoat it. I'm trying not to swear after I let the F-bomb slip in the first 5 seconds of the Miami podcast. I'm trying, but I still think if they somehow got to 8-4 at the end of the season, win a bowl game, that's probably enough to get them another year. But we're talking about hypotheticals, and I'm not an SEC fan, so I'm not going to talk hypotheticals.
Hypotheticals. Well, there ain't no hypotheticals that this team is falling apart very quickly, and I think you lose a lot of the locker room in this case. I know Florida State has shown fight at the end of games, and that's been great and such. But Florida State's getting hit with injuries. Great.
Show me fight in the second and third quarter. Like,
show me fight in the first quarter from the defense to get off the field. That'd be cool. That'd be a great idea. But no, I'm not. Trust me, I don't care about the whole fighting. Team fought till the end. We'll hear that from Mike Norvell here, I'm sure, at the presser. I don't think he's even spoke yet. Actually, we do have him.
I don't
think we even got Mike. Ooh, that's interesting. We went straight to Tommy and
a little quick meeting.
I want to say that's Edwin Joseph, but I don't think we got, unless it's hasn't been put on the Seminoles YouTube page. But I do not believe that we had a presser from Mike, which
I don't care. We've been making fun of his coach speak for 3 years. Like, you think it's going to change now?
I don't think he's going to change or anything, but I thought that's pretty interesting that we don't have Mike Norvell yet in his post-game presser. Tommy Castellanos just said, obviously, it's disappointing that we've lost 3 in a row. We're a family. Obviously, we've got to deal with it and go back and fix this thing.
Good luck.
There's a lot to fix, Tommy, and not all of that's on you. But this offense has just completely fallen apart and lost any kind of momentum that it had the first 4 weeks of the season when they did have that success against Virginia, putting up a lot of points.
Mm-hmm.
They're very limited, definitely, too, when you lose your star wide receiver in Deuce Robinson, who was your pivotal playmaker for you.
And Randy Pittman, who's been arguably the best player on offense because he can do everything. Losing your best offensive tackle, I would say, in Micah Pettis, because Hanson's been hit or miss, in my opinion, the last few weeks. And then, Boggs and Squirrel White haven't shown much this season, but they were your starters for a reason.
Yeah. Squirrel White, I don't know if we'll see him again. I don't know if it would really make an impact. That's the thing. Cool. Maybe Squirrel White will come back, VZ. What's it going to do? What is it going to do?
We know he's talented. Like, I know he's a talented wide receiver. I don't know that about some of those options down the board. It's not his fault Tommy misses him by a foot every time.
Well, he can't stay healthy. He can't
That
stay
too.
healthy.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, that's sports for you. I understand might be talented and can make some grabs and put some, blah, blah, blah. But if he can't stay healthy, you won't see the field and you won't be a factor for you for a football team. So he's got to get healthy. Randy Pittman. And like you said, he's, arguably your top player on offense as well with Deuce Robinson. But, Florida State just, they were able to move around the offensive line. I thought Rizzi wasn't so bad there at right tackle for having to
he was
step
fine
in for what he had to do. So that's good. At least you take that away as a positive from this game. But, I personally, for me, I'm over it. I think I've seen enough. It would be tormenting to put them through another blender for the fan base going into 2026 like this. The thing is, I wouldn't be shocked that happens, but you won't move on from the coach in the middle of the season. It's too costly, and I just don't see that happening for Florida State.
We've been surprised before because you and I mean, we were all here when Taggart lost that Miami game. Like, it'd be kind of surprising if they fired him mid-season, maybe make that change after season. Then he was gone after the day after the Miami game. So we've been surprised before. But that was, 20 million or 26 million, whatever it was, not 58.
Yeah. It's an ugly spot that Florida State's in. And I think everybody's over it, over this era. It's been, not only just ACC losses, but Jacksonville State losing to teams that you have no right to lose to. There's been a lot. We could go through a whole list of them. We won't do that here on this instant reaction, but every fan knows, and anybody that's followed this team, it's too much of an inconsistency. And right now, it's not even inconsistency. You're on a consistent streak of losing to ACC teams and some bad ACC teams, bad ones, and it's gotten old. It's gotten very, very old. Florida State's got to make a decision here soon, and I'm very intrigued to see what they end up doing because I'm over. I don't know. I guess Veazey's not over yet. I guess he's still holding on by a thread to see if Florida State can win out this season.
I just don't know who's a realistic option to bring in. That's part of my issue. We talked about it briefly on Wednesday, and I said on Twitter, I don't think Lane Kiffin's it. Kurt Signetti just got a huge extension. People are trying to hype up. I tweeted it, and someone said Dan Mullen within 10 seconds. At that point, if Dan Mullen's your best option, just keep Mike. To me, there's just not many great surefire options. There's some coordinators out there you might like. People have been wanting Matt Campbell for half a decade, but that doesn't really excite me. I just don't know how many realistic great options there are out there at this stage in college football.
Well, no. Well, so your answer is that you're over it, but you don't know what would be better for you then.
Kind of. I'm not saying I'm holding out.
I just don't see any light at the end of this tunnel. I just don't see it. I don't. I think it's dead. I think it's dead, y'all. I think it's dead. Yeah, Sadly, I think that's just the case, man. And we probably will see. You'll probably see that at Stanford. Now that becomes a game for some reason. Who do they play today? Who does Stanford play?
SMU.
They got a bye week?
No, they played SMU at noon.
Oh, they did. Yeah, lost 10-34 to the Mustangs. Don't really care. Florida State's got to go on the road and face Stanford, which they're 2-0 at home this season. Better hope Andrew Luck doesn't hit that field. I don't know. I think it's over for me. I don't know about anybody else, but we need to run a poll. Where's a poll? Can we put a poll here in the YouTube chat?
I think I know where that's going.
Let's see what the poll looks like here. How do I make a poll on here? Let's see. I don't even know. No. That's not a poll, but yeah. And Paula says she's out.
Some more replies to who, I said, I don't know who y'all think the next answer is, and people are saying Dan Lanning. That's just not happening. Just not happening.
There's a guy named Phil Knight that will not allow that to happen over there from Oregon.
So these are the 5 names someone said. Jimbo Fisher, which we're good on that experience. We've been through it once. Dan Lanning, Nick Saban, not happening. Tony White. Why would you want Tony White as the head coach with the way the defense is played?
Sorry.
And then Rhett Lashley, which Lashley's been fine at SMU, but it's like,
oh God, it's not an appealing group out there that you'd go after. Maybe
not. Which that's just college football in general. There's just a truly lack of great coaches right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, Ed Orgeron, bring him back. He's coming back. He said he's interested in coaching a couple months ago. He's ready to come back.
Oh God.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah. Come on.
No thanks.
Go Noles. Oh.
There's a reason he hasn't had a job in, what is it, 3 years now? 4 years?
He's been enjoying life, man. He's a single man out there now, having fun.
If he was that good of a coach, he would have landed a job by now somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, too, here's the deal. It's also too on the field play from Florida State and Mike Norvell in his tenure, but also too on the recruiting front. I mean, it has been not so pretty. Losing your top recruits, losing, you saw, Travis Hunter of what he was able to do at Colorado, lost him to Deion Sanders. And then you've had a lot. We could go through another podcast fully of some big time whiffs there at the end for Florida State, putting themselves in good spots, but just can't come away with a win, which would have been game changers for you. And that's where that continues to snowball a little bit of where these holes continue to be dug in different departments, different position groups for Florida State. But then you add that on to where you went on a 5-year run of inconsistency of developing, like we were talking about there, VZ, like, Alex Atkins couldn't get anything going there on the offensive side, on the offensive line side for you. And then you go to the linebacker unit has just continued to be a pitiful unit and group, and not being able to recruit there, but then you also can't develop.
That goes back a decade. Like we've been asking for a linebacker and offensive line for a long time.
Mm-hmm. But it just continues to hurt. That Mike Norvell can't fix that. He will never be able to fix that. That's just the thing. Like there's things that now we're in 6 years, we know that these will not be fixed. This will never be fixed. You can put as much resources behind as possible as you want. You got to wait 2 or 3 years until you're in the SEC or the Big Ten to get money to be able to recruit, or NIL, whatever. But you just don't have those opportunities. And I know what I'm going to get and what I've got from Mike Norvell, and that this is what it is. This is what it is. I'm not going to get any better. I didn't know it would be a 2-10 of how far bad I could go, but sure enough, we were able to find out last year how that works. But yeah, it's on the field and on the recruiting side for the Seminoles, and relying on 1-year players to come in and be your starters and be pivotal factors for you. And, it's a lot at risk, man. It's a lot at risk when you can't recruit at the high school level year in and year out. Anything else from you, VZ, on this third straight loss?
I'm just glad it's a 3-day weekend for me. That's
good. You can join us on Monday's show.
Yeah, I'll be there on Monday for whatever that's worth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, come on in. Come enjoy what this experience is going to be as we, give our last thoughts. Still waiting to hear. I don't know what's going on. Thought we'd hear from. There he is. Mike Norvell's at the podium. In case anybody was wondering, he said, ultimately, it all falls on my shoulders because we're not getting it done. We will get it right. Mike said on the defensive struggles, obviously didn't play very well on that side of the ball. There's things as coaches that we've got to look at. So giving a little bit of some shade there at his defensive coaching staff. Mike Norvell isn't blaming injuries on FSU's loss to Pittsburgh. He said, we did have some injuries, some guys that went down, but we had plenty of opportunities. And this is what Mike Norvell opened up in his presser, saying, unfortunately, coming out of today, the things that I expected to see coming off of the week of work, coming off the challenge, not applied well enough.
I'm taking my headphones off so I don't have to listen to this.
Ultimately, still too many mistakes, man. I think how many goddamn times, sorry for the language, but how many goddamn times have we heard, unfortunately, coming out today, the things I expect to see coming off the week of work, the great week of work, the way the guys responded in practices, VZ, the way those guys put in the work, including that Sunday right off the bat after the Miami loss. Still stunned that took on those challenges in the practice week and couldn't put it together on Saturday.
Team's
and Doak.
undefeated in practice. I tell you what.
They are undefeated in practice. I will give them that. Florida State is a very, 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 very good practice team, per Mike Norvell. Like, damn good. There hasn't been a bad practice in a while for Florida State. There has not been.
No, at least not one that we've allowed to report on.
Yeah. But yeah, at least Gus has us kicked out of those practices. Anyways, yeah, I think that's it. Time to respond. Time to respond, everybody. Time to respond. But I think I'm out. I know where I'm at. Season's gonna be pretty rough. I don't know how many people are gonna be in Doak for those last 2 games of the season. I think he's lost the fan base, and it was kind of lost last year. He saved himself a lot with that Alabama win. Easy, like getting a dominated win there, but it doesn't matter anymore. Like we said, this would not matter anymore if they did lose this game, and it surely doesn't. Does not. Nope. That's wraps.
24 days to basketball season. Yay.
Basketball is coming soon. But that's going to do it for our instant reaction between Florida State and Pittsburgh. The Seminoles not going to be ranked no longer. The Seminoles lose 34-31 to a freshman quarterback at home with a awful defensive performance. Too many mistakes offensively. Also a big-time injury as well that we'll keep monitoring as we move forward. But time to respond. Time to get the work in. There will be some good work spent tomorrow during FSU's practice, and then we will be live on Monday for you guys to give some last thoughts on this game and then get prepared for Florida State at Stanford, which now becomes a game. I don't care. It's a game. We got a game here, ladies and gentlemen.
I know I just said I'm never picking Florida State to win again. I might still do it next week. That's how bad Stanford is.
I know.
I know what we just talked about for 45 minutes. I know, but Stanford's bad, man.
Mm-hmm. but it sucks that you had to kind of think a little bit.
I know you got to think about it. Like that's
welcome to the Mike Norvell era, ladies and gentlemen.
Part.
You got to think a little bit harder to see if you got to pick Florida State to beat Stanford. Oh God, help us. I don't know what else to say. It's catastrophic. Anyways, that's going to do it for us. We'll see you Monday afternoon at 12:30, and appreciate all you guys hanging out with us this season. The show goes on from our end, and we'll see what happens next when Florida State responds. Per Mike Norvell. Peace.